everyone, welcome back to my channel.
Don't you wanna have fun? Fool around someone? 'Cause don't you...
My name's Tamika. This is Library of Tomes, where I talk to you about all the bookish things going on in my life. And you know, I thought that today would be a great day to share my favorite manga of 2021 with you, because I don't anticipate reading any more new things before the year ends, which by the time you see this, the year has already ended. It is 2022 now. So hi, welcome to my channel. I'm very excited to be able to do this video this year. I got into manga last year after not reading it for a really long time, and it just feels really good to be able to give you a list of my favorite manga. I'm hoping that next year I can really dive more into my manga and do way more manga content. I'm not going to share my goals for the channel with you in this video. That is another time, another place. But yeah, that's a big goal of mine in the new year, is reading way more manga. That way I can have an even better list for you next year. So let's go into my favorite manga of 2021. So these aren't going to be in any particular order. I'm just going to share some of my favorites, and I'm going to pop them up here on the screen. You can go check them out if you want. I'll link them all down in the description. Let's start with the most obvious. Let's do Sweat and Soap. Is that the one you were thinking I was going to say? Because I guarantee you that's not the one y'all thought I was going to say. I love Sweat and Soap. This series is a slice of life seinen manga. It's fantastic. It truly is fantastic. It is about our heroine and our hero who, they work at the same company. It's a soap company. She works in the accounting finance department, and he is the soap, like he comes up with the scents for the soap. So he's like a creative director in that sense. Our heroine has always struggled with like a body odor issue. And like always feeling like she stinks, and so she's constantly washing herself and like making sure she smells good and spraying herself with things, because she constantly sweats. Like she's constantly sweating, and our hero cannot get enough of her smell. He loves the way she smells, and he just comes up to her and he's like, I want to smell you, like let me smell you. And they have a romance, they have a relationship where he smells her and it like fuels his creative side, so he's able to like smell things and like create more easily. I don't know, it's a very interesting. He just loves her scent, and I really found this one interesting because like I know that the mangaka is going for like the pheromones. Like when you're attracted to someone and like you want to be with someone, you're very attracted to their pheromones, so it makes a lot of sense why he loves to smell her. So like it is really adorable. Like once you actually like sit down and think about it, like okay, like he's attracted to her pheromones. He's not attracted to the way she actually smells. She's attracted to like the pheromones that she's putting off, and like it's really cute because like throughout the entire series, that's a very large part of it. He loves to smell her. Like he feels very comforted in smelling her and being able to be near her and getting to get her scent. I'm nowhere near caught up on the series. I think I'm like 5 volumes in, but I really love this series. It is so cute, and I just love these two. They're just so sweet, and I couldn't say enough nice things about them. So now we're going to talk about Death Note. I read this entire series this year, and I'm so glad that I did. Like if you all know me, you know that one of my favorite animes is Death Note. I freaking love Death Note. It is my favorite anime. I have watched it more than once. I think I've watched it like 2.5 times now. I love Death Note. It is so good. It's one of the few things I can rewatch, and I just love it. I just love it. It's following Light Yagami and L and Misa Amane. In the beginning of Death Note, Light Yagami is a 17-year-old high school student, and he finds a Death Note on the school campus. And a Death Note is a notebook dropped by a Shinigami. A Shinigami is a death god. And essentially we're following Light as he tries to become a god of the new world. And he's trying to rid all of the evil people from the world, and he is using his Death Note, and he becomes known as Kira. We have an investigation where they're trying to stop him. It is just so complex, and Misa Amane is my big titty goth girlfriend. I love her. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, hi, I love her. If Misa Amane was a real person, I would try to date her. I love her. So it makes a lot of sense. I think that she's way too good for Light Yagami, but I love Light Yagami too. He's a lunatic, but I love him. Like he is like, I'm pretty sure he's an actual diagnosed like sociopath or psychopath. Like he is like, you know, like he is basically that. Like he has like no issues with like his morals or like any thing he's doing, he doesn't see it as wrong. He really believes he is doing good work, and he's very destined to like, to accomplish this mission. Like, he's very determined for it, and it's just a very good series, and I really recommend you read it. Do I think the series drags a little bit in the middle? Yes, there is a portion of a storyline that I just don't like. I don't like it in the manga. I don't like it in the anime. It has to happen, but I hate it. So yeah, I think this series is so good. If you want to see my entire thoughts, I did a whole reading vlog where I read the entire series in 24 hours. If you want to watch that, I'll link it up in the corner. But yeah, it's fantastic. I love it. I love Death Note. It is so good. Please go check out Death Note. Like, it's absolutely fantastic, and I cannot say enough good things about it. I love it. I love it so much. But I will say, if you're new to reading manga, I don't really recommend this one as your first one. Not because like it's not good, not because it's hard to follow. It's literally, well, actually it is that it's hard to follow. It's specifically like the way that the art is in this one. There's a lot of text. Like, if you're a new manga reader and you're still getting used to like how to read manga and like whatnot, this one is gonna be really hard for you to read. Like, it is just straight up gonna be really hard for you. It was hard for me as someone who like reads a lot of manga. So this one is definitely a little more hard to follow. It's more dense. There's way more words on the page. It's going to take you longer to get through, but it's great. I love it. 20 out of 10. Next up, we have Blood on the Tracks, which does this shock anyone? Because I don't think this shocks anyone, does it? Because do I ever shut up about Blood on the Tracks? I don't think I do. So, hi, love Blood on the Tracks. This is a psychological horror, kind of psychological thriller in a way. I started this series this year, and I love this series. It is fantastic. I've read the first 7 volumes. That's all that's out right now. I'm waiting for the new ones to come out, but yeah, it's fantastic. Essentially about a mother and a son, and the mother is super abusive to her son. It's just really good though. Like, it is such a good series, and I can't tell you anything else. Some light gore and light body horror, I will tell you. If that's something that you're worried about is body horror, there's not much in here. I think there's like 1 or 2 real scenes of body horror so far in the series. There is some attempted murder. There's an assault of some kind. So yeah, there is a dead animal in here at some point. There's no like actual graphic depictions of the animal being hurt, but the animal is dead in the panel. So just keep that in mind going into this. This series is just fantastic though. Like, if you are remotely curious or remotely interested in horror manga, this is it. This is your time to shine, boo. Like, seriously, this is the one. Read this book. It's fantastic. I love this. If y'all want a whole horror manga recommendations, let me know. Your girl will help you out. I just love this series though. It's fantastic. I can't shut up about it, honestly. So next up we have Cutie and the Beast, which is another series that I'm so happy that I started this series. I love Cutie and the Beast. Like, I genuinely love Cutie and the Beast so much. This is a series about Momoka and Kuga. They are just a really sweet pairing. There's a huge age gap between them though. Like, I'll be honest, there's a 10-year age gap between these two. And I think they just work so well together though. He's a pro wrestler and she's his biggest fan, and they end up having a relationship, and it's just pure and like sweet, and like it is honestly just the most wholesome thing like ever, and I adored it. It was so much fun, and I'm so happy that I got around to this series and starting it this year, and especially keeping up with it, because it's just precious. If you're remotely interested in like shoujo type of manga, this is one I recommend you pick up. If you're a romance reader, you're gonna like this. If you were someone who like loves like happy endings and like the sweet part of romances, this one's gonna hit it for you really well. It is a more forbidden age gap, but it works. Like, it is just sweet, and that's all it is. So then we have Blue Flag, which I've read the first 4 volumes of. I've not finished the series yet, but I definitely plan to. I started this later in the year, and I love Blue Flag. Like, it is so good. Like, I'm honestly so thrilled that I started the series. We essentially have a love quadrangle going on. This is a queer story. We're following 4 different high school students as they figure out their voice and who they are, and the kind of relationships they want to have. It's beautiful. It's a coming of age high school story, and I loved it. It was fantastic, and I cannot wait to continue reading it and to finish the series this year, because it's just going to be, it's going to continue to get better. I know it will. There's no way it won't be, because this series is just fantastic. I love reading queer stories, and I love seeing queer characters, especially queer characters in manga. I love it. It's one of my favorite things. So then, would this be a favorite manga video for me if I didn't talk about Tokyo Ghoul? I knew y'all were waiting on it. I knew y'all were waiting on it. Hi. Go ahead and put it down in the comments that you've been waiting this whole video for me to say that I love Tokyo Ghoul, because I won't shut up about it. But yes, Tokyo Ghoul. I'm not going to sit here and talk about it forever, because I truly believe this is my absolute favorite manga that I've read ever. And I don't want to go on and on and on like I always do. But I'll give you the long and short of it here. Tokyo Ghoul follows Ken Kaneki, who is a human. He goes on a date with a ghoul. In this world, ghouls are essentially like zombies, and he ends up becoming a half human, half ghoul. And he has to start learning to live his life as a half human, half ghoul, and like basically relearning whoever he is and what he's gonna do and what his life's gonna be like. And it is fantastic. I love it. I love Ken Kaneki. He's my baby. I want to just hold him and love him and give him everything in the world that he deserves. Did not love the ending of this series. I have a full review of it if you want to see that. I'll link that in the cards as well. But yeah, I love Tokyo Ghoul. It's fantastic. Do I have to say more? Then I also would like to talk about Fire in His Fingertips. I don't have a lot to say about it. I can't tell you much about it. There's no plot. It's hentai. You want me to be straight honest with you? I don't really remember the plot. I just know it's a continuation of the series. I read the volume 2. It was a smutty good time, and I loved it. And so would Dean Winchester. He would also love it. Do I have full thoughts on this? No. It's a smutty good time. I loved it. I'm gonna read the entire series. I'll probably reread this at some point. It's fantastic. And that's all I got. I think we got a firefighter and his childhood best friend. And that's all I got, and they're having a romance. I couldn't tell you anything else about it because I really don't remember the actual plot of this. Just being honest. And the last series that I want to talk about that I read this year that was just so good, and I'm definitely going to be picking these up. I'm going to start pre-ordering these. That way I can have them as they come out. This is Pleasure and Corruption. Now guys, listen. Hear me out on this one, okay? My taboo lovers will be okay with this. My taboo romance readers will hear me when I say this is real taboo, but it's not at the same time. So just like go in with like an open mind when you read this one. Pleasure and Corruption is a high school story, and we're following our hero who likes to take pictures under girls' skirts. And he gets caught, and our heroine forces him to be her submissive. He has no feelings to her. She has no feelings for him. There is a relationship that evolves within the 3 volumes that we have, that I've read so far. And there's a 4th volume that just came out that I've not read. But there is a relationship that evolves. And you can tell what's happening, but there's no actual, like, images on page. I struggle because it's underage kids. I get it. I struggled with that. But suspend your disbelief. Pretend they're not that young. Just pretend. You'll be fine. I love this series. I really enjoy the character development that we're getting and the 2 relationships and seeing a different side of BDSM, because we are seeing it through the eyes of someone who loves BDSM, someone who is not very familiar with it but is enjoying the experience that they're having, and then someone who is just very confused by the entire thing. So it is a very interesting take, and it's very interesting to watch happen. It's a really good series, and I stand by it. I really enjoy it. I'm gonna continue reading it. If you are even remotely curious by that premise, by how taboo it is, check it out. I think you'll like it. So those are all of my favorite manga that I've read in 2021. Let me know down in the comments what your favorite mangas are. If you have any favorites, if you have any that I have to get to. I'm hoping in the new year I can read way more manga in 2022. So yeah, if you're still here, leave me a shoe or a sock emoji down in the comments, and I will chat with y'all in my next one. Bye everyone.
Don't you wanna have some fun?
future, future like